Hello. Okay.
Happy Sunday.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
Our channel, yeah.
It's mostly mine, but kind of ours.
It is our family's, and she does most of the talking on this thing, and so I'm super proud of her and excited that she asked me to join with her on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't done a Soul Sunday in a long time.
No.
And the intention of Soul Sundays is just whatever God's speaking. It's really cold in our room.
It's cold in our house, and we're Californians.
Yeah. It's like the first really cold week.
Yeah.
But anyway, the intention is, what is God speaking to you in that moment or that day? And Brad has been preaching a series that's been really good, but I also feel like I know when I preach, there's things left unsaid, or that you don't know if you should say it from a stage, but like usually God is doing something within you.
Yeah.
That's like maybe not totally for public consumption at the time, but for me, Soul Sunday is kind of that like, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee.
But she didn't get me a cup of coffee.
This is my leftover coffee from this morning, and I've started drinking my coffee black, and here's a benefit of drinking black coffee. There's no curdled milk.
Yeah, it's good to go.
I can reheat
It's
it.
on reheat, ready to go.
Good to go. I feel like such a man.
Yeah.
Like John Dutton, who?
Yeah.
If you get that reference.
You get that. Yeah.
But,
So.
I can't get it.
Yeah, it's too hot. She heated it up too much. So,
Too much.
Yeah.
But, so we've been talking about the Grudge.
Yeah. So just been working on the series. Kind of got split up a little bit just because of we had some guest speakers come in, and then also we got quarantined. And so it's a 4-week series that I really kind of split up and put it really onto 2 weeks. And so the first week was talking about like not really being offended by the little things, like letting little things build up. And so just like making a statement anytime that you feel like this whole thing is kind of kicking in, and like you're at a point where like I feel like I'm always it's hard because I don't want to really do a recap, but like trying to bring you along the journey. You guys don't know like where it's been. So
it's fine to recap on here. They haven't been there.
Yeah, so it's just really one of those things where it's like letting little things pile up and they build into frustration or this big ball. And so once you start getting in the process of feeling like you're carrying offenses, like just make a statement and say, I'm over it. Like releasing it to Jesus and letting God really have your like talked out today, but that's fine. I'm like, I feel like today was a good day. So it's just a lot of like, but just really kind of letting go of offense and just I'm over it, giving it to Jesus and letting him carry it for you. So that was the first week. And then today was all about forgiveness. 2 things, like really walking through forgiveness. And one of the things kind of hit on a little bit, it's like forgiveness is really not forgetting. Like forgetting, and I kind of talked pretty well today on it, but like when you are in the process of forgiving somebody, it's not forgetting what they did or how it made you feel, how it hurt your feelings, like what it did to you, but you can still remember that, but know that you still need to walk in forgiveness because God's called us to forgive.
Yeah.
So
but
go ahead.
That's funny.
Go.
Because on the way home, we drive separate cars because he has to get there earlier and blah, blah. Plus, I feel like that's been the Lord's way of keeping us from fighting all the way to church.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we have a 2-minute commute, so
yeah,
it's super.
But we haven't ridden to church together.
For a long time, yeah.
A decade at least. So anyway, we're driving home and I was thinking about the sermon, thinking about the message, because too with this whole thing, I feel like you've done a good job of being careful. Like there are some things that you truly are the victim, you truly are hurt, deep hurt, and like that's not dismissed. But I think some of the surface things that we could trip up on are not that deep, and you do kind of just need to get over it. So it's not making light of true trauma.
Right, like in that whole thing though, the concept of like I'm over it is not like they didn't do something.
Right.
It's the concept and the mindset of saying, I'm not going to carry it.
Right.
Like, even if it's small, like, you still did offend me. You still hurt my feelings. There's still things you did to me, but I'm not going to carry it. I'm releasing it, and by that, I'm over it. And so, like, yeah.
But I was thinking about this because let's take true trauma aside, right? And all those processes you have to do and all those things. But I have come in contact with many people throughout my walk in life and my Christian walk that are offended about so many things and everything and all things. And like,
I mean, I've been one of those. Like, I've lived my life that way, like, really carried a coat or you'll hear me say, if you watch any of our, like an armor or a jacket of offense.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, and especially in this day and age, like, I was just on my Instagram, and that's a mistake. I've been trying to do, like, a lot of different things when I'm not on my Instagram. But I literally just saw the same story, and I'm not going to go into it because it's politics things, and the two different sides, because I have friends that are on two different sides of the fence, and how to the death and viciously they'll defend their side.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, and then in our New Morning Mercies this morning, I know you read yours different time, but it talks about, like, the same concept. So it's just God kind of full circling it for me, but is this something that will affect eternity?
Right.
And you said that today too. Like, if this doesn't affect eternity,
excuse me,
let it go. But I was thinking about driving home. I was like, okay, I don't feel like I live in a lot of offense. I don't feel like I live in a lot of bitterness. I don't feel like I do that. So, like, what do I do, or what do
But let's say, like, do you, like, I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
But do you feel like there was a time where you did?
Yes, but okay,
yeah.
Getting there.
But I want to kind of put that in there, like, because we both know that we share pretty much everything. So it's like, there is a time where I know she did, and so that's why I wanted to just. So I didn't know if you were gonna say it. So,
no, you're okay. But it was so some of the stuff that is true trauma in my life, still working through it.
Yeah.
Have forgiven it, and that was one of the thoughts. But then, like, all these little things, how do I, like, not become bitter or not? Because I work hard to not be a bitter person. I don't want to be that grouchy old lady who just thinks, I'm shivering, you guys. Okay.
It's so cold. It's so cold.
Okay, but anyway, I was thinking about, and you said something about,
let's do this.
Forgiveness
This is one of our blankets, our foot blankets.
Yeah. That's ridiculous how cold. And I'm so cheap.
She won't turn the heater on.
I will not turn the heater on
so
until it's like Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
That's like our gift.
Okay.
You get the heater put on.
Go for it.
But I was thinking about, like, you said forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. And I think that's true. But I think when you live, like, there's a caveat to it for me too, though. Because once I have forgiven, I do stop replaying it in my head.
Yeah.
So at some point, I do start forgetting how bad it hurt.
Well, I think, like, in that that thought process of that really too is, like, forgiving is not forgetting. The process of, like, I'm forgiving, I don't go every time I see this person, or every time I or every time I have this saying, I don't go all the way back to the initial hurt.
Right.
That part, like, I remember what happened, but I'm not taking those emotions with me. Yeah. Does that make sense? And like, I'm not pulling everything back and having to start all the way over again.
Right.
Like, I've forgiven you, but I haven't forgotten what happened. But I know that we're building our relationship from this forgiveness, not all the way here.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think that's when you know you have truly forgiven. I think we could say in our Christianese, like, oh, I forgive her. But then you're going all the way back, like, but I remember when she said this, this, and this. But I was thinking about, like, as you mature in that forgiveness, even if it's for that person, one, you're not going all the way back, and two, I do think there's a part where you move past it and forward, where you do forget. Like, I've had relationships in my life where it's like we were at once at odds, and then all of a sudden we're friends again, and it's like, what were we mad about again? And it had been so big in the moment. Yeah. Like, it had been such a, like, tearing apart.
That's the ploy of the enemy, like, just to destroy relationships and, like, healthy relationships where people are coming together. Like, if anything is becoming closer to the Lord and closer together. Like the enemy wants to just destroy it.
Right.
So.
And I do feel like there's people I'll see and I'll be like, I'll still have that check of like, don't trust them.
Yeah.
Like, don't.
But see, that's the other part though too. Like that's where, like in a relationship or a friendship or anything like that, where that side of it that says, I've forgiven you, but I've got to rebuild the trust.
Right. Like now my eyes are open.
Right. And so that's where it's like that part 2 of it, where it's not that we're starting back here, but our trust has to be reestablished.
Right. And I think in different scenarios and cases, you have to have a view of them as like, give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
But also, like, you have to show me that your character has changed.
Yeah.
Since that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give you room to grow and change because that's what I hope to be given. But at some point, like, if I keep telling you I'm not showing up, you're going to believe, like, or keep telling you I'm going to show up and I don't, you're going to start, like...
Yeah, it's the same person, yeah.
She's not showing up.
Yeah, she's not the same.
She's going to be late.
Yeah.
It's a hard... I feel like this is one of the hardest things God commands us to do in our Christian walk.
Yeah.
Because, and you said it today, it's so counter our nature.
Yeah.
Our nature is revenge. Our nature is knowing that I'm going to get the justice I feel I deserve.
Right. Like, and I think though too, like, that, I mean, that's a perfect illustration of the enemy. Mm-hmm. The enemy wanted to be like God and receive praise like God. So he was kicked out of heaven. So everything he does is to get revenge on God. Mm-hmm. So, and we are born into sin as who we are. That's how it is. Thanks, Adam and Eve. But we're born into this thing. So our nature is to get revenge. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
Well, and I feel like even culturally, all that, it's instant gratification, right? Like we want our good, quick, and like if you've wronged me, I'm gonna wrong you right back. I know justice has been served.
Yeah.
Like to wait for a God to get our revenge.
Right. A just God.
A just God.
Yeah.
And who knows all things, intentions of the heart, all those things, to do what he does. That takes faith, and you said that today too. And it's like, yeah, it's very true. It takes faith to wait for God to do what he can do in somebody's heart.
Yeah. And to, I don't know, like, to, like, judge whether or not, like, it's the punishment at the timing or what, you know, whatever they deserve. I don't know the right word I'm looking for. The verdict of, you know, like, God in his timing. That's the other. It takes faith to wait for his timing. It takes faith to wait for his outcome. We don't know what God is doing in that person's life from then and then till whatever. So
you know what's so funny is I'm thinking of a scenario where somebody had wronged us or whatever, and I had felt like so much anger and like, ooh, I want them to get theirs, you know, like just so angry. And then God took us through a season of forgiving that person, and when they did get theirs, I was actually very sad. Yeah. And very like, oh.
Yeah, it like because of the true forgiveness.
Yeah.
And the like I made reference to it today in the message of having to go and be the one to ask for forgiveness. One, honestly, on the beginning stages, I did nothing wrong, or we did nothing wrong. But in the process of after the hurt had been done, like I was thinking about it through this whole thing, is like I had some things stored up. And not really realizing until now that I have actually had bitterness in my heart towards that person, or, you know, hatred towards that person, or, you know, this XYZ, because of what they did. I had now had the same, I mean, because sin is equal, sin is sin. So I had the same amount of guilt and, you know, wrong because of my thought process or the things we had said to each other about those people or those persons. And so, like, when I was in the process of God saying, hey, you need to go ask for forgiveness, I was like, I've done nothing wrong. And then just the quickening of what the Lord was doing, like, you didn't do anything wrong in that moment, but from that moment till the moment you asked for forgiveness, you had a ton of stuff in between, thoughts that didn't stay thoughts. They actually became words, and they became seeds. into your heart. And so, like, I did need to ask for forgiveness, but I didn't do anything wrong in that moment, but all the way from that moment on. So, yeah.
Why do you think we're so quick to, like, get angry or offended or hurt when we are not given the benefit of the doubt, but, like, we will not give the benefit of the doubt? And I'm speaking to myself too. Like, I get so mad when someone doesn't, like, think the best of me. Like, we've had fights like that before. It's like, why in the world, like, why do you go to how horrible I could be first and not just think the best of me? Like, that's not my intention, that's not my heart. Why? And after we say that, and vice versa, like, you do, like, oh yeah, that isn't your intention. Why do you
that's
think
not your character.
Yeah, why do you think we're so close? And whole family feuds could be built off something like that, just like misreading the intention of the heart.
I don't have an answer for that.
I don't either.
But,
so I asked the question.
I think, like, because I have to probably do as I start thinking about it and processing it, but, like, I think that we, it's just our culture has so popularized or so glamorized when someone, like, even tabloids and all that stuff, like, it's like out there, Facebook, this and that, everything's out when someone does something wrong. So our mindset and our culture is like, everyone's doing something wrong. So, like, even if there's a question, does that make sense? Like, there's a question, you didn't answer. So does that make sense or no? Not really.
I'm trying.
Yeah. So, like, when there's a question of, like, well, why did you do that? We're already programmed to think negative because we see so much negative happen. So instantly we're going, oh, that's negative. Oh, you said that, and I struggle with this, and still, like, to this day, like, you said that, but what'd you really mean? Because I'm programmed to think, oh, you speak negative. And it's not you, but it's just the world.
Well, and I feel like, again, please separate anything I'm about to say with true victimization or trauma. But I do feel like it's become almost like glamorized to be a victim. Like, oh, that person hurt me. Oh, poor, you know, like, and again, not in actual cases where somebody has been sexually assaulted or physically, or, you know, like, there's actual.
There's real stuff.
But like, overall, she took my parking spot. Oh.
Yeah.
You know, like.
I think it's just a need for, like, to be honest, setting aside the other stuff. This scenario, what you just said, like, you took my parking spot. They said that they looked at
my pew.
You looked at me this way, like, and I think it's really actually a cry for attention. Yeah, it's like, I actually want to be noticed, and so if I can't be noticed for something good, I'm actually gonna bring up something negative so people will notice me.
And I feel, I could see, like, if you feel isolated by, like, if you are holding a root of bitterness, holding a root of unforgiveness, and you're in a social situation and you see that person, it's a great way to get everyone to gather around you, because you can tell. Because tell the story. Or
it's actually building cliques.
Right. Well, we saw it we were at a wedding, and you can tell where the family drama is.
Oh, yeah.
It becomes like an actual magnet.
People are like, oh.
Yeah. Like,
oh. Yeah.
It's crazy though, huh? Yeah. Like, even strangers to the family could tell the auntie did not like cousin, you know? Like,
for real. For real.
But, like, and then all the other people are gathering around like, oh yeah, no, it's okay. I'm sorry she's here. Like, you know, whatever. Like, it's, why are we so attracted to
because it's just drama.
Anger and the bitterness and the...
It's just drama.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, we watch reality TV. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's just drama. Live drama.
I'm not hating. I watch it too. Yeah. But, you know.
So, like, the first thing was forgiveness is not forgetting, right? And the second one was, like, forgiveness is not fair. Yeah. Those two things. And so, like, we want eye for an eye, you know, right? And so we're like, oh, this is the way. But it's not your job to, like, lost for words here for a moment. Like, it's your job. It's not your job to, once you forgive, you don't get to really speak to my sentence. Does that make sense?
Let me talk to that for a second, because I have a revelation about this. This is going to be a long video. Okay, so the eye for the eye verse in the Old Testament, it is in context in a courtroom with a judge verse. We have now taken it modern Christianity as we are the judge and jury.
Yeah.
But when it was written, it's a third neutral party who is saying, okay, yeah, you killed that guy's cow, we're going to get your cow. There's no emotion involved in it.
Right.
There's no hurt, there's no bitterness, it's a mediation, it's a fairness thing in that scenario, because there's not emotion attached to it. Or when we do it, there's so much emotion attached to it.
That's good. That's true.
There's so much, like, so it's fair to me because I'm the judge and jury now.
Yeah.
And what does the Bible say about that? God is the only one who can truly judge us.
Right.
He is the mediator. And so again, taking that faith when you're mad or you're hurt or you're whatever, to let God be the judge and jury.
There was a great poet that sang a song about it too.
Only God could judge me.
Only God could judge me. Rip Tupac.
West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I think that's. I mean, we don't get to pick the verdict.
No.
When we forgive, God is the mediator. He is the one doing the verdict, the sentencing, and how it all goes. So.
Well, and you as parents can understand this too. When you have two kids who you're trying to discipline, the kid is different. The
try 5 people.
It's exhausting. I'm exhausted today.
Yeah.
But like,
this is their 3rd cup.
Each kid has a different personality, what drives them, what ticks, and also there's moments where as a parent, you know, this kid, what they need right now is grace.
Yeah. Well, that's what forgiveness is.
Right.
So forgiveness is not forgetting. It's not fair. But what grace or what forgiveness is the allowance of grace given to others in which God has given to you.
Right. And that's the whole, like, God is the Father. We're all his kids. Sometimes siblings fight. And he knows, okay, this kid right now, they need a timeout. They need some discipline.
Yeah.
This kid right here has been beaten up all week.
Yeah, just needs some love.
Just needs a little, So, I don't know. I just wanted the little after chat of today. Yeah,
I think it's easier to, and I talked about this today too, like it's easier to walk in bitterness, unforgiveness, hatred, malice. Like it's easier for that. That's the easy side. The harder thing is to forgive because it takes faith.
And
it takes trust in the Lord.
You know I say this all the time, but I am such an observant, curious person by nature. So when we're in a lot of settings, I will observe how people's whole demeanors are. And you can tell physically when someone has lived a life of unforgiveness.
Oh, yeah.
And anger.
Yeah. Like, it's written.
All their face, their body. You'll hear all the sicknesses that they're dealing with within themselves. And so if for pure vanity reasons, I try to live in forgiveness because I don't want my grandkids and my great-grandkids to come to my house and see me. Yeah. I want it to always be a place of just joy and light. Yeah. And so I have to do that work daily. Yeah.
And I think that, like, we think about it, like, I think about it, because I'm more of, like, the serious, like, person out. Like,
Grouch.
Yeah. I 100%. Like, 100%. Like, and so, I know that. But there's times where I can be goofy and funny and all that stuff, but I think most of it is like when you see somebody that is so happy and so joyful and like, what's wrong with that person? They're fake. And like, I think like, what's wrong with it? But some of this, like, but the other part is like, man, when people are truly walking with the joy of the Lord, they have true no, not all of them are walking with the joy. Some of them are straight fake. Yeah, some are.
That's real. Yeah.
But you know, like, you can tell when someone is truly walking with the joy of the Lord, like they're not bound by any like restrictions or things of like bitterness, hatred, malice, like envy, jealousy. Like they're not bound. They're just, I'm walking with the Lord. I'm walking with the Spirit of the Lord, like with all the fruit evident in my life as far as the fruit of the Spirit. And so like just like that you know, I think that you can notice it, and you can tell when someone's like, oh, that's put on for today.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
You know, so.
For sure. I think, again,
you know where I was going with
no,
that.
that's fine. I think what just spurred all this was like, yes, forgiveness is not forgetting, but at some point, I do believe through the work of the Holy Spirit, you stop playing that movie in your head.
Right.
You stop saying the narrative. It stops hurting, and but forgiveness is also a work.
Yeah, it is. It's a process. And like, you have to be open, because honestly, like, even the little things hurt. But the situations where you're talking about earlier, where there is sexual, mental, physical, verbal, like, you know, that takes work. That's I mean, the other stuff takes work. Those hurts and those things that people have done to you, those take work. And you've got to dig deep, and you've got to allow yourself a ton of vulnerability in that. Not only like, maybe if you're you know, with the Lord and with somebody, or with a counselor, or however that looks, like, you've got to open up, and really, you know, you've got to let the Holy Spirit, you know, dive in and be your comforter. And that's the harder,
Of course.
That's the harder topic.
I feel like
when you're talking about unforgiveness.
I'll talk to it for a second, but I don't even feel fully equipped, because I
don't. That's why I'm kind of like beating around the bush a little bit.
But just the little bit that I have super abandonment issues. I think I've shared that on here. But so I haven't had any type of abuse or been victimized in any kind of sexual way, which I don't even know where to begin. So, but for me, forgiveness is a posture of my heart where I stop looking at the person for an I'm sorry or some kind of work, and I start looking within and do the work. And some of the things that you see even within, like, you get so busy working on you that you stop even thinking about them.
Yeah.
Because, like, they hurt me, even if it's a physical thing. As your physical body is healing, you have to tend to this wound and spend the time doing that, where you're not spending the time
focusing outward.
Because if you're focusing on them, and your wound is festering and you're not nursing it, or you're actually to it,
die from within.
Right. You'll
eat yourself alive.
Right. So I think if it's true trauma or true something that, I think with the Holy Spirit's help, you dive inward and you take your eyes off them and you posture your heart to forgive in the way where you're going to start working on you. Grant me the desires of my heart. What is it? Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will grant you the desires of your heart. Yeah. I'm butchering it. But I had a revelation about that too. As you're delighting in the Lord, His desires become your desires. His desire for you is wholeness. His desire for you is to live in freedom. The longer you live with your outward focus, for somebody to apologize or get justice or whatever, you're not going to walk in freedom.
Yeah.
And so delight yourself in the Lord, and He will grant you the desires of your heart. It says your heart, but your heart starts lining up so much with His heart that
it's one.
There's no difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the moment, like, it's hard, because I'm in kind of one of those that like most of the time I don't know that I've offended people. And I do it a lot.
It's just his personality. It's more of a
just like just go
aggressive personality. Yeah.
And you know, even like with you, like, I don't really realize it a lot until you're like, hey, wait a minute, stop, time out. Like, when you're so focused on waiting for that person to say I'm sorry,
right,
you're gonna live in that.
Right.
And the hard part is, like, someone like me, 80% of the time, I don't realize I've offended you.
Right.
But I walk an offense, but I'm like, whatever, move it on, you know. But the truth is like, you're waiting for me to say something. I don't ever realize that I've offended you.
Meanwhile.
You're never going to get a sorry, because I don't realize it.
Right.
I don't know I hurt you. I don't, you know, and so, like, that personality of, I mean, there's times where I know that I crossed the line on that one, and, you know,
when silence comes.
No, but like, even with like friends and family, like, I know, like, I stepped over. There's a shift in the atmosphere. There's a shift, like, even for me, I've tried to take this last season and be like, Lord, when I do offend people, not like if I'm going to, but like when I do, because I know I'm going to. Like when I do, give me the awareness to see and know. And so even like we have friends that I'll text back or I'll call back and I'll say, hey, I'm sorry I said that this way and I didn't mean to hurt anything. They're like, no big deal.
Yeah.
But I'm really on the opposite side, really trying to make sure that I'm being sensitive to what the Lord is doing. So
well, and I feel like that's such a healthy approach too, even if they haven't mentioned anything or done anything, because I feel like you're squashing the devil before he can even get a foothold.
Because if I know I've done something, it'll fester in my head, personally.
Well, you'll pull back and they're like, what the heck happened? And I was like, I offended you. What the heck?
And no, you didn't.
Or if they're just being like nice in the moment, we're like, no, I was fine. But inside they're already like spiraling, like, what did he mean by that? Or like whatever. So I just feel like that's such a good position to have, to apologize quickly when you know, or even think that maybe
and it's that moment, like living our lives in forgiveness is walking and asking for forgiveness.
That was very good conversation.
Thank you
and thank you
and thank you. Thanks for watching today on a Soul Sunday and letting me be a part of it and talking about forgiveness.
I haven't done this in a while, so I was like, you know what, we're doing it today. He's like, today? I'm like, today. Right now.
Today's the day.
So. I got red lips on. Red lipstick means there needs to be a video. All right, anyways, like, subscribe, join our tribe
before this turns into a different kind of topic. All right, guys, I love you. Thank you so much.
But yes, I've been posting pretty regularly, but just even more so.
Thank you guys for joining our journey and seeing what's going on here.
Okay, guys, we'll see you soon in our next video.
Bye.
Bye.